This podcast is an invitation to feel and experience the souls of famous old Hollywood homes and to have an in-depth journey to the areas where they're located through interviews with longtime residents. Either you're a fan of old Hollywood in Los Angeles, planning to have a vacation, or, an even bigger step, considering a certain area for your future home. This is your opportunity to receive valuable information and insightful advice you won't find anywhere else.
Hello, and welcome to my podcast. Are you in the mood for California? Today, we'll feel and experience Simi Valley, followed by an interview with remarkable and inspiring Steve Strope.
I really like it. It has a small town feel. I am from a very, very small farm town in upstate New York named Apalachin. Grew up working on farms. So this area, though not as small as my town back home, has that feel. I know all the people at the bank. I know the kids at the local Taco Bell. I know, the people that work at the gas station. It definitely has that feeling of, the people around you.
Mhm.
So I enjoy that very, very much. And yeah, I am close enough to the hustle and bustle. I can make it down to, say, Universal Studios or downtown LA in, half hour, 35 minutes or so, as long as the traffic's not horrific. I can be in the mix per se if I want to at any given notice, but it's nice to be a little removed for it. It's a little quieter. And I'm on purposely tucked away. It's a nice place for my company because we don't really rely on walk-in.
Mhm.
My customers are from all around the country, let alone I have customers from other countries.
Masha Korpacheva is a California-based realtor and a member of the National Association of Realtors in Los Angeles. She's an advocate for selling and buying homes with soul and practicing mindfulness in real estate. With master's degrees in spiritual psychology and linguistics, Masha brings all of her skills to work with her clients. An intuit and empath, she has touched many lives with her outstanding ability to see beyond the visible and helping to come to better understanding of issues and their resolutions. An adventurous world traveler, from climbing Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania to exploring the Galapagos Islands, Masha has a particular passion for the City of Angels. Having landed in this paradise and adopted it as her home, she's been sharing old Hollywood stories since 2007. In the mood for California, feel the soul of old Hollywood.
And now, are you ready to experience Simi Valley? Nestled in a quiet corner of Southern California, Simi Valley is a hidden gem that blends suburban tranquility with rich history. Though it may seem like just another peaceful city surrounded by rolling hills and serene landscapes, Simi Valley holds a key piece of America's past and a fascinating glimpse into its future. The most iconic landmark here is the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library, perched on a stunning hilltop. From the moment you arrive, you feel like you've stepped into a living piece of history. As you walk through the library's galleries, you are taken on a journey through the life of the 40th president, from his days in Hollywood to his 2 terms as governor of California, and finally to the White House, where he shaped the global landscape during one of the most tense periods of the Cold War. But what truly sets this place apart is more than just the history preserved within the walls. It's the profound sense of what was at stake during Reagan's presidency. At the library, visitors can see a piece of the Berlin Wall, a powerful symbol of freedom's triumph over oppression. Standing before it, You can almost feel the echoes of history, families divided by concrete, and a world held in suspense. This simple slab of stone reminds us of the Cold War's stark realities and the weight of diplomatic decisions. One of the most surreal experiences at the Reagan Library is the chance to board Air Force One, the very aircraft that carried President Reagan across the globe during his presidency. Walking through its narrow corridor, you get a sense of the immense responsibilities that came with the job. The polished interior is carefully restored to its original condition. But what truly gave me pause was the briefcase tucked inside. This was the exact briefcase that once contained the codes to launch nuclear weapons during the Cold War. It's a chilling reminder of how fragile global peace can be and how close we once came to the brink of disaster. As you stand in the cabin where world-altering decisions were made, you can't help but feel a renewed appreciation for the importance of diplomacy and the pursuit of peace. Beyond its ties to history, Simi Valley offers a natural beauty that makes it a destination for both history buffs and outdoor enthusiasts. The city is framed by the rugged peaks of the Santa Susana Mountains, and just a short drive away, you'll find the Santa Susana Pass State Historic Park and Rocky Peak Park, where miles of trails invite hikers and bikers to explore. These parks aren't just a retreat from the busyness of life. They're windows into a landscape that has remained largely unchanged for centuries. As you hike through the rugged terrain, you can imagine the Native American tribes and early settlers who once called this place home, surviving and thriving in the same hills that now offer breathtaking views for today's adventurers. Simi Valley's family-friendly atmosphere is one of its greatest draws. The city is known for its excellent schools and tight-knit community. Families flock to places like the Simi Valley Cultural Arts Center, where live performances and art exhibitions bring people together. And with so many parks, recreational facilities, and events, the city is alive with activities year-round, from summer concerts to holiday festivals that bring the community together in celebration. But Simi Valley isn't just about its past. It's also evolving as a modern hub for technology and business. In recent years, the city has become home to growing tech companies and startups, supported by a forward-thinking local government that encourages innovation. And now, with the introduction of Flume Internet Gigabit Fiber Optic Service, Simi Valley is more connected than ever. For remote workers, entrepreneurs, and tech enthusiasts, the fast and reliable internet service is a game changer, making it easier to work, live, and thrive in this peaceful part of Southern California. Yet, despite all its modern touches, Simi Valley holds onto a sense of small town charm. It's the kind of place where neighbors greet each other on morning walks, where local diners like Don Cuco offer a comforting meal at the end of a long day, and where the landscape still whispers the stories of those who came before. Whether you're standing before the towering walls of the Reagan Library, exploring the hidden trails of the Santa Susana Mountains, or simply enjoying the city's quiet charm, Simi Valley offers a rich tapestry of history, nature, and community. It's a place where the past and present come together, offering a reminder of the importance of peace, progress, and the simple joys of life. And here we are. Welcome to Simi Valley. I'm so honored to have Steve Strope here with me. Steve Strope's journey to owning Pure Vision Design, a renowned hot rod and muscle car fabrication shop in Simi Valley, California, is a story of passion, perseverance, and creativity. Raised in Apalachin, New York, Strope's path to success had many twists and turns, including playing in his band Twist of Fate for 8 years in the Triple Cities area. His love for music played a pivotal role in shaping his creative approach to car building. After moving to California over 2 decades ago to pursue a career in the hot rod industry, Strope faced an early setback when the company he planned to work for went out of business. However, through a series of chance meetings, he secured a job in a hot rod shop, which became the foundation of his career. His breakthrough came when Hot Rod magazine spotted his beloved '67 Chevy El Camino and featured it, marking the realization of his dream to be in a magazine. At Pure Vision, Strope and his small team craft award-winning, trend-setting cars inspired by fictional stories with unique engines and designs that evoke emotion. His success has led him to work with celebrities like Jay Leno and co-host the YouTube podcast Car Guy Confessions with Jeff Smith and Cam Banty, where they explore the intersections of cars, BMX, and music. Please check out Pure Vision Design website at www.purevisiondesign.com. Steve will take us along for the ride as he shares his life story and what it's like to call Simi Valley home. Hello, Steve.
Well, hello. Good afternoon.
Thank you so much, first of all, for finding the time to participate in my podcast in the Mood for California. It's such an honor to have you.
Oh, thanks. Well, it's a two-way street. Thank you very much for allowing me the opportunity to share my story a little bit and talk about what it is I've supposedly accomplished.
Yes.
All the rest. So we'll explore that a little bit. But thank you also to you for allowing me the opportunity.
Of course, Steve. So let's start with the place where you live. You've made Simi Valley your home,
Yes.
And this place is quite a bit removed from the hustle and bustle of Los Angeles, but still close enough to action. What is it like living in Simi Valley? And maybe you can describe the vibe of this area.
I kind of wound up in Simi by happenstance to a point through evolutionary steps of my life. But once I was here, I really like it. It has a small town feel. I am from a very, very small farm town in upstate New York named Apalachin. Grew up working on farms. So this area, though not as small as my town back home, has that feel. I know all the people at the bank. I know the kids at the local Taco Bell. I know, the people that work at the gas station. It definitely has that feeling of, the people around you.
Mhm.
So I enjoy that very, very much. And yeah, I am close enough to the hustle and bustle. I can make it down to, say, Universal Studios or downtown LA in, half hour, 35 minutes or so, as long as the traffic's not horrific. I can be in the mix per se if I want to at any given notice, but it's nice to be a little removed for it. It's a little quieter. And I'm on purposely tucked away. It's a nice place for my company because we don't really rely on walk-in.
Mhm.
My customers are from all around the country, let alone I have customers from other countries. So my shop does not need to be near a hustle and bustle like a mall or something like that, because we're very specific in what we do. And it takes quite a while when you're building a car from the ground up. It's usually a couple of years project. So it's nice to be kind of tucked away and not bothered per se.
Mm-hmm. Very, very true. Yes. And also getting this small town feel must be very dear to your heart. As you mentioned that you are coming from Apalachin in New York. And
Yeah.
so that must, be very, very special for you to be in Simi Valley and feel sort of similar.
Yeah, it's very comfortable. It's a comfortable existence for me,
Uh-huh.
which, lets me focus on doing my job as best as possible for my customers.
Yes, yes, that's the most important thing. And what actually drew you to Los Angeles in the first place? Was there some specific maybe moment or experience that made you feel like LA was where you were meant to be?
So for LA, since I'm a New Yorker, even though now I am a Californian. I've been out here for 30 years. Southern California was always a draw for me, even in my little town. When I was young, instead of football and baseball and those sports, I was a little off center and I did very California inspired sports. I raced bicycle motocross and I skateboarded. So I read a lot of publications, a lot of magazines that were specific to those hobbies and sports.
Hmm.
And a lot of the manufacturers were here in Southern California, and the press, the people who made the magazines were also based here in California. You got a huge amount of Southern California, LA vibe from those magazines. And then as I got a little older, when I was in college, I started playing music professionally and traveled and played. And of course, at that point in the mid 80s, late 80s, the place to be for rock and roll was the Sunset Strip,
Yes.
at the Whiskey, the Roxy, Gazzari's, all those famous places where all the rock and roll, heavy metal, hard rock bands were being discovered, where they were playing Van Halen, Motley Crue, and there's hundreds of bands that fill in that groove. So Southern California was always a state of mind, for me, because of either my music industry or my beloved sports hobbies with motocross and skateboarding. And I got an opportunity to move out to Southern California, starting in the Riverside area. I actually moved to Oceanside, that's more Orange County or San Diego County.
Hmm.
But that's where I moved originally to work for a gentleman that made performance car parts. And through a insane amount of story, which we don't even have close to enough time for here, I wound up being able to stay. I sold everything I had to move to Southern California. After
Wow.
the first month, it was really scary. It looked like I had no job and I wasn't going to have anywhere to live. And through a magic happenstance of one person that I met knew another person and got me an interview at a hot rod shop down in Orange County. And I wound up getting that job and flew home a car that I built in my dad's barn, came out here, and then promptly gotten 3 different magazines with that car. And that's kind of what started everything, even though I started playing again, joined a band in an area called Studio City,
Hmm.
LA, actually on this side of the hill, though, as you know, over near Ventura Boulevard,
Yes.
and moved in with the guitar player and started working on new material for recording. And my focus went back to music. And though at the same time I was tinkering on another car that I was building myself down in the parking garage of my apartment. And I'm serious. And that car went on to really push the second part of my life in the car world. That car became a feature car in many magazines here and in Japan.
Wow.
Wound up being a cover car. It got awarded a top 10 car of the year with the big magazine in our industry called Hot Rod Magazine. And that really, really, really kickstarted things. And that was in 98. And by like 2000, 2001, 2002, I finally got the courage to open up an actual shop, even though I didn't think anybody would pay me to work on their car. And I was wrong. I wound up building more cars and unveiling them at huge shows with people like the Chrysler Corporation. The aforementioned Hot Rod Magazine actually hired me to build a car for them. There was a lot of amazing things that happened. Had a lot of very influential people believe in me and what I was doing, and it just snowballed and took off. And I, even before I had an official shop, I already had 2 top 10 cars of the year, and I already had something like almost 15 magazine features before I even opened the shop. And then after I opened the shop, more and more really amazing things happened, but it was through a lot of hard work. So for those of you out there listening, she was nice enough to send me some questions ahead of time. So I'm going to bounce around a little bit, but when I had my first shop, I didn't have money for an apartment, so I lived in my shop, and that's not fun. There's no heat, there's no AC. So if it's freezing out, you're freezing. If it's sweltering out, you're sweltering. And I didn't have a shower, so I joined a 24-hour fitness gym down the street so I could use their shower. And, I'd have a bowl of Cheerios in the morning on my desk and do my paperwork. And I had no employees, so I did everything. I designed the whole car. I built the whole car. I ordered all the parts. I created all the marketing and promo and all that stuff. I was a one-man band, and I wanted to, not complaining. I was excited to do it. I was excited that somebody even wanted to pay me to work on cool cars,
Yes.
use my imagination. And that just turned into so many amazing opportunities for me. And again, I'm very fortunate that the different magazine editors and then the TV stuff started coming in, starting to film the car shows. And I got involved with that, and then got involved with some major motion pictures like the Fast and Furious franchise. And so, again, a lot of hard work, a lot of digging and scratching. But again, I'm very fortunate that those decision makers thought enough of my designs or what we were doing that they thought their viewership or their moviegoer would like to see that stuff on screen that we were doing. So again, very fortunate that those guys liked what I was turning out. But you gotta wanna very bad.
Yes.
And I've spoken to college kid groups, that are graduating from trade schools and welding schools. And, I would describe to them what I just told you with the, joined a gym so I had somewhere to shower. There were nights when it was pouring rain, and my bed, unfortunately, it was the one spot of the shop where it would work, and it's underneath a ducting, and rainwater would drip out of the ducting and onto my bed. So I'm in the middle of a heavy rainstorm. I'm climbing up on the roof of the building and stuffing old T-shirts down in the ducting so it would soak up the water.
Oh my God.
So I think the thing that describes me the best, that I kind of coughed up this thing quite a while ago in an old interview, and someone was asking me, what's the secret to my success? What's the thing? And I said, basically, it's tongue in cheek and joking, but I'm too stupid to know I can't.
Mm-hmm.
So I just go do it. I don't sit there and go, well, I'll never be able to do that. All I do is go, well, I want to build a car like this, and it's going to do that, even though nobody's done one of those before. I'll just come up with create a way to do it.
Yes.
So I never really focused on the reasons why I can't do it. I went and found answers so I could do it. And, until life forced me to admit, okay, you just can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Until that moment, I keep pushing, and I'll find an answer, or I'll find a way to do it. And it's just out of the positive side. It's excited. I want to create it. I want to do it. I want it to happen. And so I don't even think about that'll be impossible. I don't really approach it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Because you've already half failed if you're already doubting it,
Yes.
So I just try to approach it with, I'm gonna and there will be a way, and I'm going to find it. That's
Yes.
kind of that for me. That's how I approach, and I still approach it that way.
And that's incredible, Steve. It's such a testament to your mind, to the state of your mind, because you are truly a life example of, the fact that we create the reality that we can actually see in our minds. And that's what you have done with your life.
Yeah, yeah, and it wasn't a focus. I never sat somewhere and went, I'm gonna create this life for myself. It wasn't something that I was focusing on. I was just, I want to do this, so I'll find a way to do it. As
Mm-hmm.
far as I want to create my own thing, shop, build cool cars,
Mm-hmm.
and just kind of threw myself into it, and learned a lot, got burned a lot, pulled my hair out a lot. No
Of
wonder I have any
course.
hair. I have been lied to, stolen from, everything, everything. But the only thing you can do with that is treat it as a learning experience. So hopefully it doesn't happen again.
Yes, very true.
And then it hopefully makes you stronger or wiser or whatever term you would like to use.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I just push forward and try to do a good job. And I try not to have too many barriers get in front of me when I'm being creative.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and the most important thing too, truly following your passion and your passion for love for music and
Oh yeah.
cars.
Oh yeah.
These two passions that you have, it's absolutely uncanny. It's incredible. And you have managed to combine these two passions that actually really capture the essence of Los Angeles itself.
Yeah, this area is definitely known for hot rodding and definitely known for rock and roll. There's no two ways about that. And they're, interestingly enough, they're very intertwined and intermeshed. There's tons and tons of hot rodders that are involved with music, or famous musicians who love cool cars.
Mm-hmm.
My buddy Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top, big car guy. Michael Anthony from Van Halen, the bass player from Van Halen, great car guy, co-owns a terrific rim company called Bond Speed Wheels. They're on and on and on. Another good friend, Blackie Lawless from a metal band called Wasp, total gearhead, total car guy.
Mm-hmm.
So there's lots of them. Robert Mason, the guy who sings for Warrant currently, I met him through car stuff, not through music stuff. So it's there's definitely a mixing of those two cultures together. They definitely go together. So I'm again, really fortunate that I've been able to do really neat things that most people haven't been able to in both of those studies.
Mm-hmm.
So, and again, it's not without hard work, that's for sure. I earned my spot. But again, I'm still thankful that I was able and still able. I'm going to be playing here in the, I think it's still Los Angeles, Agora Hills. That might still be Ventura, but we're going to be playing. I currently am in a band, and we're going to be playing there coming here in the beginning of September. So I still get to express myself through music and have a lot of fun, have a good time and entertain. But obviously my company, Pure Vision, the car building one, takes a lot of my attention and time because it's a company and I have employees that, I need to do payroll and pay the bills and all the rest. So again, very fortunate to be able to have both of those things that are near and dear to my heart still in my life, and I still get to be active in doing both of them.
Yes, that's beautiful. And Steve, how did actually your experiences in music influence your work with cars? Maybe there is some creative overlap for you between the two passions.
You know what? They're almost kind of separate for me. My love and what I do with music is its own focus,
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm designing and building cars, now I may be listening to music, but truth be told, my ideas and designs usually come to me about 3 or 4 in the morning, and I shoot up out of bed and I go into my office and I start scribbling down notes and sketching ideas. And that's kind of when that happens. So it's in the still of the night. It's really not there's not a lot of crossover. Now, at the end, especially if I build a car for myself or past cars that I have built for myself that I've driven cross country, I'm always enjoying music while I'm driving.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely a part of the experience when I've driven cross country many times, and there's always a selection of music. You know, back when I first moved out here, I had something like it's $7,000 or $8,000 of cassette tapes with me in the car in carrying cases, so you know I could listen to anything I wanted to put in the tape deck, and you know that evolved, of course, into CDs, and then now we have serious, you know, satellite radio. But truth be told, I still have an iPod, but I have one of the older ones with a huge memory, and I've got about 12 or 13,000 songs on it. I listen
Oh,
to a lot
wow.
of them, right? So I'm never without music. So, and music is important when I'm creating and crafting, when I'm working, when I'm fabricating, especially when it's a weekend that I got the shop to myself and I'm tinkering on something. Oh, uh, it's a 2 minute thing of sitting there staring at all the music going, I feel like this today. I feel like listening to this kind of music, you
Mm-hmm.
know. I feel like this will fit my creative zone today. You know, I'll be very picky on the music that I listen to while I'm working and fabricating.
Oh.
So there is that. Music is very important to me when I'm actually physically working on the cars and doing, because it completes a vibe for me. It completes an atmosphere per se.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, yeah, music does cross into the car thing. Now, when I'm on stage, there's no cars up on stage.
Mm-hmm. Not yet.
No, no. So yeah, that's going to have to be left out in the parking lot. So that's
Very interesting. I think that for me personally, design has a lot of rhythm to it because, music is something very harmonious and something that really evokes like the beating of our heart. And whenever you design anything, whether it's a house, a piece of furniture, or a car, I think there has to be harmony to that design so that it would really have its own life and will be able to touch the hearts of other people through the eye. While music touches us when we listen to it, design touches us when we see it. So I think in some way it's connected.
and I agree with you. When I've done other interviews or I've done other meetings, so again with the kids and stuff, that where I've stated when I'm designing a car, I go for a theme, and that theme, in my opinion, it's what emotion do I want to evoke? How
Mm-hmm.
do I want this car to the car guy, the guy who knows what he's looking at? How is he going to respond to this? Some cars are really, really beautiful, and the cars are very aggressive. So it depends on the design and the styling and the selection of the parts. So you are correct. There is crossover. There is emotion and feeling when I'm designing, a static piece like a car. Not static, but when it's a solid thing. It's not a audio like music,
Mm-hmm.
which definitely evokes emotion.
Yes.
Music is all emotion, depending on the note selection of the piece. It's happy, it's sad, it's groovy, it's funky, it's angry. It depends.
Mm-hmm.
The note selection completely changes the emotion that the piece will evoke from somebody. So, and I look at car building the same. How do I want the general public to feel when they look at this car? What am I trying to get across in the design? So, yeah, there is crossover. I agree with that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Beautiful, Steve. So your vehicles have been features in blockbuster movies like the Fast and Furious franchise, and you've worked with celebrities like Jay Leno. What has it
Oh
been
yeah,
like for you to see your creations on the big screen and to work with such high-profile names?
it's crazy and fun, and I've been so fortunate. Again, Jay has been very supportive of me in the shop. and just a super great guy, as all true car guys are, regardless of income. Usually a real car guy is a good guy, a friendly guy, a helpful guy, a thoughtful guy who also knows how to work with his hands and knows how to trouble solve, problem shoot. But Jay is fantastic. You know, one of my other customers, Joe Rogan, is just the nicest guy. We've been friends for about 20 years.
Wow.
And seeing my stuff, on the big screen is very surreal. The first time I had a television series that we didn't re-sign because I was just really busy, and filming takes a lot, even though I'm talking with a new company now about possibly doing a new series. It's very surreal for me. Take my television series per se. If I could build a time machine and go back in time and talk with 18-year-old me, 18-year-old me is starting to travel and play. I love music. I'm a huge fan of the band ZZ Top. And I also live and breathe and sleep my Hot Rod magazine and my car world. So if I went back in time and told 18-year-old me, in the future, you're going to have a very, very popular, almost famous hot rod shop, and you're going to be in Hot Rod magazine many times, and you're going to have your own TV show, and Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top is going to be the host of your show, I wouldn't believe one word of it. Because all of that, let alone you're going to move all the way to Southern California to do all this. All of it that's crazy talk. That'll never happen.
Mm-hmm.
It actually has happened. So, yeah, the best word, even though I've used it a couple times so far in this interview, it's surreal.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it is my normal daily life, that I'm friends with these different celebrities and I'm involved with them and these neat high profile projects like the movies or my own TV show or what have you. So part of me is used to it, right? It's my daily grind.
Yes.
But when I speak of it in situations like this and I get a moment to reflect, it's still just crazy. It's insane, the realities that I've been able to experience because of what's been, offered to me as opportunities because of what we've built or what I've done. So it's really fantastic and neat. And on the other hand, it's like, yeah, well, I'm friends with him. He's as normal. He's as normal as any other human. But when I see my stuff on the big screen, yeah, that's really neat. It's a very cool feeling of accomplishment for sure.
Yes. And you mentioned the realities that you have been able to experience. I would like to add the realities that you have been able to create, because you have created all of this.
True, in a way, though, I got phone calls saying, hey, we'd like to use this car of yours in this movie. And, so they'd never call if we didn't build a cool car. That's true. But on the other hand, I'm still thankful that they picked our cool car over, because there's tons of other cool cars. So I'm still thankful that they thought, our car had the je ne sais quoi, it had that thing that they were looking for to be on screen. So yeah, just as always, I'm super blessed and thankful that, I've got to experience this stuff. And yes, as I've said, I've worked hard for it and I've earned it, but nevertheless, it's, I'm still appreciative.
Yes, it is so important to feel the appreciation. Very, very important. Just, the quality of life changes when you feel appreciative, no matter where you're at, I think. This is very important. And Steve, my last question to you, for aspiring builders, designers, or anyone looking to follow their passion, what advice would you give? How do you stay motivated and keep pushing forward even when the road gets tough?
You know what? It's going to sound like a cliche answer, but love what you do. If you love what you do and you're excited about it, it always overrides the frustration, the anger, the sadness. That's temporary. When somebody does you wrong or something broke or, you're almost out of money, if you love what you do, if you like it, and it feels close to your heart, everything else is going to be okay. You'll overcome it. But be ready to work hard and earn it. It's certainly not going to, fall in your lap, and no one's going to hand it to you. Nobody.
Yes.
So you go in, I think you go in with a good, ready to work hard attitude, and go in, I really like to do this. I really want to do this. And I'm willing to suffer or put up with frustrations and stresses because the benefits outweigh it.
Mhm.
I've got stuff right now that's driving me crazy with schedules and letdowns and other things, but I won't really remember it when I unveil the car when it's done and I'm doing all the interviews and all the cameras are clicking and we're going to film for these guys and those guys and we're going to do photo shoots for that magazine and this other one, and everyone's, you know, especially what I call the 2%ers, the people in my industry that I know, they know what they're looking at.
Mhm.
And they give me, from 15 feet away, there's certain people that I know in my industry that I really respect. And if they're over near my car and they look at me and they just give me the nod,
Mhm.
like, you did a good job. They don't even got to say it to me. And that fills it. That gives me the pride in the work we did. When the owner sees it for the first time and he's all excited, and when I take people out for the first drives and rides and they're thrilled, that's what, you know, fills the tank back up. That's what you forget all the yucky stuff.
Mhm.
You're like, oh yeah, this is why I do that. And there's been a ton of times that I've been at the shop really late at night or alone with one of the creations and just looking at it and feeling a very, a large sense of pride. I had an idea in my head and it went on paper and then it became real and here it is. And it came out really special, really nice. And there's no accolades and there's no cameras and there's no applause. It's just me standing there going, we did a really good job. This thing's beautiful. And it
Mhm.
came from this idea and just stuff scratched on a piece of paper. And now here it is for real. And I'm very proud of that. So there's a lot of personal pride there. It's not just the fanfare and the accolades. It's a mixture. But
Yes.
be ready to work really hard. Be
I,
ready to work really hard.
I can see that. Well, Steve, thank you so much, first of all, for the time that you took to have this conversation with me.
Sure.
And another thing, thank you for sharing your state of mind because it is so inspiring just to listen to you and to feel the passion that you have for what you do. And it looks like love always wins, and your life is a proof of that, and you have worked really hard at everything that you have been doing. So thank you so much for
You're
sharing
very welcome.
your state of mind, your heart, and thank you for everything that you do.
Well, thank you again for the opportunity. And thank you all out there listening. I appreciate you taking the time to hear.
Until next time, Steve.
Indeed.
Bye-bye.
We'll talk with you later. Bye.
Talk later. Bye. Thank you very much for tuning in to feel and experience Simi Valley with my special guest, Steve Strope. If you enjoy my podcast, In the Mood for California, please sign up for future episodes at your preferred platform and please leave your feedback. I really appreciate your time and support. You can follow me on Instagram at In the Mood for California and check out my website www.inthemoodforcalifornia.com. Selling and buying homes with soul is not just my real estate strategy. It's an intuitive and holistic approach that embraces your values, aspirations, and conscious intentions. If you want to discover the power of mindfulness in your real estate journey with my compassionate guidance, I'm here for you. Next time, we'll dive into the fascinating history of Roman's Bookstore, a literary landmark with deep roots in California's culture. Cannot wait to explore it with you.
In the mood for California, feel the soul of Old Hollywood.